Hi, my name is Luke Homan, founder and CEO of Conteneo, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the guest list and access controls within Weave. These are provided to make sure that only the people that you want to see your frameworks and participate in your forums and view the results of those forums are seeing the data that you've created and stored in Weave. Let's get started. When you think of a Weave forum, you're thinking of participants. Participants are members of either the guest list or the excluded list. And it is exactly as it sounds. The guest list are participants that have a reserved slot or they're available to participate. The excluded list are participants that are prohibited from participating. Now, both the guest and the exclude list accept individual emails or domains. Let's say, for example, Conteneo wanted to have a forum where we were only including some of our customers from Cisco. Well, here I would put cisco.com into the guest list, and that would mean that anyone with a cisco.com email address could participate in my forum, and everyone else would be excluded. Let's further see how I can control the access to the forum results to make sure that I'm managing my forum results in the way I want. When I create a forum, I have two ways to provide access. There's info access and there's full results access. Info access just means the participant knows they participated within the forum. Results access gives them full access to the results of the forum that they created in Weave. The default setting is results access. However, you should choose the setting that best meets your needs. For example, let's say that you're a Scrum Master in a high-tech company and you are doing a retrospective. Here, the default setting of results access is exactly what you want because you want your participants to see the results of the forum. Let's say instead, though, that you're a product manager and you're conducting research about potential new product features. Here, you probably want info access because once that forum is done, you don't want your customers to necessarily return to those features because you're going to be incorporating data from multiple forums into a specific result that you'll then share with customers. Now, it's important to understand how things are processed. Let's go through an example. Matthias is a product owner, and he works for Rackspace, and he wants to prioritize a list of features using by a feature with his internal team. Now, notice that I said internal team, so that's a signal that it's probably going to be people from Rackspace.com. He wants their feedback, and he also wants to test the framework content before trying out with customers. So he starts by configuring his guest list simply with the email domain Rackspace.com. Let's explore how Weave processes a person trying to join his forum using an email address. The first step is you're presented with the front door to a forum. And this is where we gather basic information about their participant, their name, their email address, and the forum ID. Weave then places the participant into the lobby. The lobby is the gathering place before the forum begins. Let's say that Matthias scheduled his buy a feature forum for 11 o'clock in the morning. Chances are good that one or two people are going to come a few minutes early and a few people might come a few minutes late. So before the forum begins, Matthias starts it off and opens up the lobby. This enables people who've joined early to have a gathering place. They can have a conversation, Matthias can provide background information, they can get to know each other. When Matthias is ready, he's going to go ahead and move them into the forum. Now here we have a picture of a sailboat forum, but you can easily imagine that the forum that Matthias moved them into was a buy a feature forum. Let's go ahead and see how we've processed specific emails that are joining a forum. Let's start by saying Claire, who works with Matthias, attempts to join the forum using the email address claire@rackspace.com. The first thing that Weave does is it looks at the specific email address. Now, the reason we try to exclude people is because it creates the safest way for you to manage your data. Now, if this specific email is on the excluded list, Claire will be rejected from joining the forum. The next thing we do is we look for the specific email on the included list. Now, if the specific email, claire@rackspace.com, is on the guest list or the included list, we place Claire into a forum. However, if her specific email is on neither list, we take off the username and we look at the domain name. And we do the same sequence of checks. Is Claire's email domain on the excluded list? In this case, the answer is no, because Matthias used rackspace.com as his guest list. So this step would be skipped, and we would look to see, is Claire's email domain on the guest list? In this case, it is, so Claire is placed into a reserved slot. Now, if you're following along very carefully, you'll notice that I have only looked at rackspace.com. What happens if Claire were to attempt to join with claire@hotmail.com? In this case, Claire would be at this step, and Weave needs to make a decision. In the lobby, there's a wait list, and we put people who we cannot determine how to process into the wait list, and we ask the facilitator to determine their fate. In this case, Claire, if she came in with claire@hotmail.com, would be put into the wait list. Matthias could look in the lobby and see the wait list and say, I know that's Claire, she's a colleague, I'm going to go ahead and put her into the forum. Or Matthias could say, I don't know who Claire is, I don't want her in my forum because I only want people who are coming in through rackspace.com, and therefore he would reject her entry into the forum. In all cases, when a facilitator is present, a facilitator will determine the fate of the participants that cannot be determined through the guest list. Now, you can further require that participants authenticate their access to a forum. When you turn this on, Weave will send an email to the player with an authorization code. It's kind of like how a bank works. When you log into a bank and the bank is unfamiliar with where you're logging in, many times the bank will send you an email authorization code. It's kind of also similar to the two-factor authentication that many companies use when they see that you're logging in and perhaps from an unfamiliar device, and they email you to confirm that entry is okay. When you turn on authentication, what will happen is Weave will email that code to the participant, and that participant will need to enter that code into the forum. Let's see how that happens. What happens here is that in the front door, we ask for the name, the email address, and the 9-digit code. When the forum is secured, you'll see your participant will see a note that says an authorization link has been emailed to them that has a code. They need to either enter that code or click on the URL. Now, there are some rare cases in which the email will be delayed in being delivered to your participant. Facilitators have access to the codes that we're using when they're generated for only their specific forum. If that happens, the facilitator can access that code and send it directly to participants for which they know, for example, through a text message or through an email in their corporate system. Now, let's look at a scenario. Let's say that a product manager wants to prioritize 18 features with anyone, meaning anyone who has the ID to join the forum is good, but they want to make certain that they are playing with real people. Well, in this case, they would leave the guest list and the excluded list alone, which default to everyone, but they would turn authentication on. And given that it's a by a feature forum, they'd probably want a time stop forum, and they'd probably set that time limit for roughly an hour. A second scenario. Let's say again that product manager wants to prioritize 18 features, but here they have a very specific, targeted, and tailored group of customers. Now, they do not care if the customers play together from different companies, but they want to make sure only specific companies are included. For example, Conteneo has a list of enterprise customers and a list of individual customers who are consultants. Those different customers have different needs. And when I'm running forums about how I want to see Conteneo's Weave system evolve, sometimes I only include companies who have enterprise licenses, and sometimes I only include individuals who are consultants who are using Weave in client engagements. In this case, I turn authentication on, and my guest list would include the names, the domain names of the companies that I want to include. A final scenario is, let's say that you're working as a project manager in an internal IT team, and you've got a list of 17 projects, and you've got a group of 200 employees, and you've got some contractors. You want to include your employees, but you want to exclude your contractors. This is common in many large companies who give their contractors corporate email addresses, but want to exclude their contractors from prioritization decisions. In this case, you would return authentication on, you would list the name of your company as the domain of the participants, and in the excluded list, you would list the specific email addresses of the contractors to exclude. If a contractor tried to join the forum, we would identify that it was a specific email address on the excluded list and reject their entry. If a normal member of your team tried to join the forum, we would detect that they are a member of the domain that you've included in the guest list, and we would let that person participate. We encourage you to explore the guest list in greater detail. If you're working on a forum that has sensitive data, we want you to make sure that you're configuring your forum so that only the participants you want to access that forum have access to that data.